everyone, this is Yolanda, and today I'm going to show you how to make an easy folded brim hat like this, a knitted hat, using the Addi machine. And I'm going to show you the technique that I use to make these. You can make your brims as thick or as narrow as you want. This one's pretty wide, and so you can make them whatever size you want. This one, obviously it's doubled over, so that's pretty big. It'll keep all your forehead and your ears warm. So I hope you'll enjoy this video tutorial. Please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, leave any comments or questions in the area below the video. Have a great day, and let's get the party started. Okay, so to begin, I'm going to start with the scrap yarn. You can see I have a lot less of that than my other yarn. These are both Caron 1 pound from Yarn Inspirations. So I'm just going to get the little tail here, and I'm going to begin here where the black little pegs are at. You don't have to do this, but I like to put a little clip there to kind of help me, give me a little bit of tension when I start. And you're going to begin here with this gate. This gate is going to be closed because you could open it and then you can close it. We're going to start with it closed, and that way you don't hit the pegs. So here, when you begin, you're just going to wrap your yarn. Let me get a little bit closer so hopefully you can see better. Let me move my machine here. You're going to start by wrapping in and out. So here's one, and I'll go behind that needle, and then in front, behind, in front, behind, in front, all the way around. Okay, so you're basically kind of like skipping one stitch. And you'll see why I chose to start it with a scrap yarn when I need to pick up that hem for the binding, the little rim. It's easier to see the stitch and the row you start. If they're both the same color, it's a little bit harder. And you will be removing this scrap yarn, so don't worry, it's not going to show in your finished little beanie here. So here, when I get to the end again, I should go in front, and I'm going to open up that little gate peg there. Go a little bit, and then I'm going to stick it here into the opening there, and then I can close that there. And now the first rows might feel a little jumpy, but now you go all the way around. Let me change my little color here. And when you get to the black, it should change the rows. If yours isn't working that good, see here, went to number 1. But if the row counter is not working, I know that you could change the battery. It opens on the bottom and then it should start working again. So here I'm just going to do like 4 or 5 rows of this scrap yarn, and then I will change it to the color that I'm going to be using, which is this nice little mauve color. So I'm going to go ahead and just go around, and now you can see that the pegs are catching the yarn there. So I'm going to do a few rows, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I add the main yarn. Okay, so here I've knit like 4 rows. You don't have to do too many. My stitch counter, my row counter moved to 5, but I'm going to push that 0 to clear it again. So just push the little button on there, clear it. The number is 5. So here is right before the black needle peg comes out. I think they're called pegs. But right before this comes out, now it's time for me to cut that yarn and change it to my main yarn. So here I made these cakes to pull out of the center. It seems to work a lot nicer that way, and I don't have to be fighting with the tail. So here I'm going to cut the tail up here. Okay, I'm going to open my little peg, put that tail back there. Let me get a little bit closer, maybe you can see better. Put that tail back there. I can clip it with this to keep it out of the way. I'm going to get my new yarn, put it there through the threader, just like that. Go and attach it, just clip it here together. And now close that little locket here. And now when I start the new row, it'll start my new color. And here you can check around, like here, if you see any of the stitches that have fallen or it didn't catch all the stitches, I would go ahead and just stop, take it off, and start again. You want to make sure all the stitches caught. It's easier to see your stitches, and it'll make a big difference once you get going. Now for here, now you're just going to do as many rows as you want. I think this one was like 40 rows or 45 rows because it was really thick, and then before I folded it over. Usually I make, if you're not gonna make a brim, you don't even have to do that. If you just want it to fold up on itself, you don't have to do that. I just like the way these look, kind of a little bit more fitted. I'm making a bunch of them for the orphanage in Lilies of the Valley in Tijuana. And so here I'm just gonna do, for this one I'm gonna do a small little brim. So I'm gonna go ahead and knit about 25 rows, so that could give me enough to fold it over. So all you need to do is just go around and keep spinning your rows. Oh, I forgot to mention, there is a little dial here. You want it to be down because that's when it does round circular knitting. If you have this little dial up, it will stop at everything and then go back. It does flat panels, which is really cool too. So here I'm going to go ahead. I know that some other people have done some videos, but I'm going to go ahead and just go and do my 25 rows, and I'll come back. You can see it just changed to 1. I'll come back when I have my 20, either 20 or 25 rows, and then I'll show you how you pick up the hem, which is what I kind of struggled with when I didn't know how to do it. So I'm making this one, so I know a lot of people have this machine, and then you can finish it with nice little brims. Okay, so here I know I'm coming to the end because there's my row, and right now I'm in row 24. This is where I started. So I'm going to go slowly here just till I hit that right before I knit that black stitch. That's the row 20. Right now I'm on row 25. So this is the whole point of this tutorial, is how to lift the brim. You guys probably all know, you just keep, after you do it, you just keep making more rows, as many rows as you want, and then you gather off the top. There's a lot of those videos, so that's easy to do. So here, what I like to do, first of all, let me get my glasses. So here now I'm at this stitch, and now you can see why. Let me take off my little weight here. Now you can see why I like having these the different colors, so it's easy for me to see where my stitches new row started. Remember, here is where I began my new row. So here you could lift up this row, but I find it easier to lift up this one that's like the higher one, the one between the two blues here. That one there is the one I'm going to lift up, and it's easier if you start putting them before they get at their highest point. So I'm just going to start here, get this stitch right there. Can you see where it's between the, see how this is the two stitches, and there it's right here, that little, it looks like a little frown. So I'm going to fold it over and just lay it over the needle there, let it go, and make sure it catches there. Let me move the little machine here so you can see how it's caught on that peg there. And you can see this is row 25, so I'm going to change my row counter to start at 0 again. And I'll probably knit about 50 additional rows. It's up to you what size you do. And then I go ahead and slowly just turn there, making sure that this yarn is getting caught underneath that needle. We don't want to drop any stitches. Now I come to the next stitch. See how I skip this one? I come to the next one, and I put that over my needle, that little peg there, and it's caught underneath. And then I carefully go, see how that one caught, making sure, let me see if I move the machine here, you can see, making sure that they caught, that needle caught the thread, the yarn. I'm going to turn it back like this so I can finish showing you guys. And then I can go ahead and carefully get the next one before it gets to its highest point. Make sure that yarn is catching. Then my next one. See how when you have two different colors, it's so much easier to see which stitch you should be catching. Because if they're all the same, it's easy to go in the wrong row, and then your hat is not going to be even. So here, I put that one in there. When the next needle, the little peg is coming up, I'm going to get my next stitch and just stretch it and put it over that peg. Making sure, I go slowly so I can make sure that that yarn is getting caught under the peg, or else it's going to drop the stitch and it's not going to be good. Get the next one. You're going to do this all the way around. This is the slowest part because I'm being careful to make sure that the yarn is getting caught underneath. So when it's stitching here, it's going to close up that seam. I'm sorry if I kind of talking a lot, but I found this method a lot more helpful. And you don't have to worry about this. We'll remove this scrap piece when we finish our hat. Get that under there. Okay, here, so the trick is just to go slowly. Let's pretend I'm going here, and let's say this one doesn't catch, okay? Like say it just went, I went ahead and oops, it went back there. Now I need that to catch, or else that's gonna be, could be a drop stitch. So all you need to do is go slowly back, bring this back in front, and just gently push it under that little peg, and now it's caught again. So if you're going really fast, you're just going to skip through. You're going to find out when it's way back here, and then it is kind of a mess. So here I just go slowly, making sure you're putting in the new stitch and making sure that it's getting caught under there, okay? Okay, here I'm coming to my last peg here, so I'm going to get that on there. This one's a little bit lower, so that's okay. We're going to put it on there, just like that. And after you do this one, it's going to be a little rough because there's like, some of them have 2 stitches on there, like this one here that I just started. So just do it slowly. Don't force the machine. You don't want to break any of your little pegs here. They do come with some replacements, but you want to be careful. So now here, I've done the whole brim, and it's going to be just that easy. When you put the scrap yarn, I think it's a lot easier, a different color. So here now, I can go ahead and knit. Right now I'm on my first row because I just closed this off. I'm going to go ahead and go around and do about 50 more rows. You do it whatever size you want. And usually the hats, I make them like 70 rows. And so since this one I already, I did 25 here to turn it over, I'm going to do about 50 more rows. But you can make them longer, or that way it'll be more slouchy. It's up to you. You just need to measure all your finished hats to see how many rows is good for you. And this is the Addi, the king size one, so it's not the little baby one. But this one, usually your machine won't be moving around this much. It's just that I don't have it clamped down to my table so that I could film it for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing all of my, oops, you saw my body there. So I'm going to go ahead and finish them. And like I said, see, these all have different, this is the brim right there. These all have different size. This is a little short brim. If you like big ones, I think this one I knit like I think it was like 50, and then I folded it down so then that it's nice and thick. So, but from the total, from here to here, I want it to be like 70. So if I do 50 here, once I start here, I know that's already like 25, and then I can just do the rest of my stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and then I'll show you how we gather the end. Okay, so here I finished knitting. Usually I go till the hat hits the bottom here, which it's already doing for an adult size or for a woman's size. And so here I did want to show you a mistake I made, and I didn't even notice it. Let me see if I can get closer. You could see that right here I dropped a stitch. But since it's on the inside, I'm going to go ahead and leave it, but I didn't even notice it till I was about this far up. That's why I said you have to be careful when you're doing this to make sure you don't drop a stitch. And then I dropped a stitch a few rows up. So once you do this, I've already got the rows I think I'm going to need. You could also put one of your other hats and see, like, is that big enough? And I think it's big enough now. So I'm just going to get my yarn, and I'm just going to go around the perimeter of the machine just to make sure I have enough yarn. It's going to be more than enough. I just don't want to run out of yarn before I need it. I'm going to get my yarn needle. Usually this machine will come with your little red needle, but I'm going to put my yarn to the inside there, and I have my needle here. I'm going to get a little closer so you can see what I'm doing, okay? I'm going to move the machine here. So once I have my yarn here, that's going to be the last stitch, and so I'm going to go there. And then just take this off right there. Usually I ended in with the black rows, but that's okay. I think I went a couple over. So here, once you see this, I'm going to go ahead slowly. See, I just ended a little bit before the row. So here, you can see these 2 little stitches. I'm going to get my needle, and yeah, the little red needle, it's bent a little bit so it's easier. You're just going to go under there and pick up the stitch and pull it through. Oops, I've started to get a little knot there. Let me take that off. Pull that through. My next one, I'm going to pull it through. Let me try to do it with my left hand so I don't block your view. And you're going to do that in all of them. Slowly pull it through. Oh, that's really odd. I'm trying to do it with my left hand. All the way around. So I'm sorry, I can't do it with my left hand. It's just too odd. Pull it through. Don't go too far because you don't want to drop a bunch of stitches. Pull it. The needle that comes in is like a little bent, so it's easier to get under there. This is just a tapestry needle. And you can see that I'm just pulling it through and I'm gathering all my stitches here. So the top is just going to be gathered. Okay, here I've come to the end. Take my little stitches off here. Let me move the machine. Usually you would have it clamped down to your table. So here, let me show you what it looks like. It's pretty big. It's an adult size. And you could just, I make them all different sizes because I do them from charity. So here, once you have this, I like to just stick my needle into the inside and flip it inside out, just like that. This is pretty big. I think it might be a little bit too long, but it's more like a slouchy then. But you can just measure to see how big you want it. It'll still work. You just pull it there, and I'm going to fold my yarn so that I could get double strands here with that tail there. Pull it there, and then you're just going to go sew across. Oops, sorry, there's a loud noise in my neighborhood. I don't know what it is. And you're just going to go from one side to the other, just like that. And you're going to close up that little hole. Closer. And I just go across this way, then the other way. I'm going to go across. And you just want to close off that top little space there. If you could put a pom-pom on there, whatever you want to do, your beanie's going to be done. So there, the space has been closed. I'm going to tie this here. Pull that there. And you can cut off your needles and just sew in your tails. There's no other anything else you need to do. It's super easy. Okay, let me just pull these through. I'm just going to leave this for now. You know how to sew in tails. And now I want to show you the brim. So here, this is going to come off. Don't worry about that. So here, let me get closer so you can see what I'm going to do. So now here, you see the spaces. I'm going to cut. Be careful not to cut your main beanie. I'm going to cut there. I'm probably going to do it in a few places so it's easier to pull out. You can see here. And now you have this little tail here. Right there. You just pull that off. And that scrap yarn will come right off. And there's your brim. See how much easier? To me, I think that's easier than when there's no different color. It's hard for me to see it. So I'm going to cut another place here. And now, when I pull it out, here's that little tail. Pull it out, and your scrap yarn comes off. That's it. Pretty easy, huh? And I love having the scrap yarn because then I could see where I'm going to pick up. This one's pretty big. I think this is more like a slouchy, but well, maybe not. See, it's almost the same size. And so you could make them any size you want with the king size Addi. Then you just sew in your little tail here. And it's done. And I said, like, if you wanted to be have a bigger brim, you could fold it, or this one would be pretty cool to just fold over like this. I did 25 rows for the brim. Then I lifted up that hem onto the machine, and then I did 50 more stitches, so this would be perfect to wear folded over. So that's the whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know there's other videos on how to do the this hat brims, but I just think it's a little bit easier using the scrap yarn. And I want to thank Carolyn Rainey, my knitting teacher, because she showed me how to use the scrap yarn to make everything easier. So thank you so much, Carolyn. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Please be sure to subscribe, hit that like button. There's a little bell you want to hit on there so that you get notified whenever I put in a new video.